Hello, hello. It's showtime. Woohoo! How are you doing? This is me here, Sab in Paris. And I don't normally say woohoo, but I wanted to see if the funky new feature that they have on Facebook, where you see the words that the person is saying in real time, works, and if they translate it as woohoo. So that's why I said woohoo, to see if they write woohoo on it. You know, it's an option. If you're hard of hearing, you can see what the person is saying in real time in some of the things at the bottom. So hello, and welcome to a new Mystery Monday. And lots has been going on. I'm not sure if that's English, since last time. And I've got loads of stuff to show you in the group, and there's some photographs to look at. And we'll take it from there. So do say hello. Somebody's saying hello. I'm going to guess it's going to be Nazanin or 𝗙𝗏𝗙𝗃. And it is 𝗙𝗏𝗃 is saying, hey, Sab, or woohoo, or what? Yeah, I don't know. Did you know that you can now be translated in real time? There's a little setting and you can actually see your words. It's kind of weird. Clever. Very good. So hello. How are you doing? Where are you? What's up with you guys? Let me go straight into what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to share the screen here. There's me talking, saying woohoo and things like that. So here we are in the Creative Smartphone Photography group, and there's a couple of new features that I need to draw your attention to. And the first one, of course, tonight we're going to be looking at some sunshine photographs, which was the theme for last week. But I want to remind you that there's a new thing. I'll just scroll up through here. There's a new thing. There's two new things, but there's this new thing where I put my photograph of the day, because I'm a Paris photographer, you know. I publish a photograph of Paris every day. And I decided to recycle my pixels and put my photographs everywhere. They might stimulate some creativity from you guys. And it isn't. It's not working. Nobody's contributing. This doesn't matter, you know. I contribute. I do my stuff, and whatever happens after that is up to the universe. But this is the idea. I think it's a good idea. I put my photograph of the day here, as you can see. You see here, it's a sort of medieval-looking building in Paris, and I say that this is today's creative prompt. So what I want this to do is stimulate you to post a photograph. But I don't want you to be stuck with this photograph. You can either post a photograph that is inspired by this one, or you can post another photograph, any photograph at all. It doesn't matter, okay? I just want you to post photographs. That's what I want. And as you see, I offer you some ideas. How does the image make you feel? What does the text below bring to your mind? I'll tell you about that in a second. And let a few ideas or emotions or spontaneous reactions spring forth, hopefully in the form of a photograph. It could be a photograph you've taken before that you want to share, or it can be a new one. You want to go out, photograph that medieval building in your town and post it here. So please do that. I also offer a little bit of text linked to this photograph, because I write with the photographs. So for example, the text here is, apart from the young man in the black leather jacket and trainers, I can almost hear Henry IV's carriage joggling down the cobbles just in time for his assassination. History writ large on Rye City walls. So I have taken some of the text from the photograph of the day. You see, there's the photograph of the day on my Paris website. It's called parissetmefree.com. There's the photograph that I've just showed you, and further down the page is the text. So I'm sharing my creativity with you, and I would like you to share your creativity with me. So that's the deal, you see. That's why I do it. So there's that. And I just want to chug through a few of them to show you how many wonderful stimuli I'm offering you to be creative photographically. Tinkut's is saying, yes, I see the captions, but only on my phone. What captions are the captions when people speak on a live video? Yeah, well, I see them on the computer, and it's kind of weird because you realize how much crap you speak. This one was a rather interesting poster in a metro station with, you know, folks walking past. Or you could say it's folks walking along with an interesting poster behind. This should stimulate something, shouldn't it? It didn't. So people are just kind of getting into the swing of things. Weekly chat, I'm going to tell you about that. It's a great thing. I want you to take part. Here's another of the photos of the day. So I said last week that people are getting into this, but so far people haven't been stimulated enough to contribute anything, which it's a shame, but I'm going to carry on doing it and you know, see. I think little by little, over time, people will you know, will occasionally get stimulated. Alice left a comment there. She says, what does she say? It's when I go to take photographs that I take more time to see the unusual, or when I am a passenger in the car. Love seeing the fun and unusual that exists when you take time to see. If it would ever stop raining and being cold. Yeah, I think it's a bit cold and chilly where Alice is at the moment. Poor old Alice. Jackie sent in this photograph, which is kind of nice, kind of fun. It's it's her dog looking rather surprised at this kind of cross between a monster turtle and Wallace from Wallace and Gromit, if you ask me. And so it goes on. This is actually a thing which I do every Sunday evening, and it's me talking about creative stuff. So I'm starting to put that in all the creative groups. If you want to talk about creativity or hear me talking about creativity, then it's every Sunday, and it's kind of fun. I had a lot of interaction yesterday, which was really good. So you see, people haven't started, you guys haven't started contributing yet. So tell me what's going on. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what you'd like to see. And I would, I also appreciate that it's, you know, there's a million groups out there and you just can't be creative all the time. So I get that. I get that. All right. So let's move on to the next screen I have here. Yeah. So this is weekly chat. And this is fun. I've decided to ask a question of you and see what comes up. And I'm doing it in the writing group as well, the creative blog and article writing group, which does include poetry and short stories, if you like, and memes, anything you like along those lines, which do lead to hopefully really, really good, solid and impressive blog or articles, blogs or articles. So this one was, what stops you from snapping as much as you like and why? And Tinkutsa says, not having a goal for the photo, staying indoors, no sunshine at the moment. Well, the theme was sunshine this week. You don't have to, you know, have a lot of sunshine to take photographs, of course. My grandmother used to think that not only did you need sunshine to take a photograph, you had to have the people standing, staring straight into the sun, being blinded with their eyes screwed up like this and tears streaming down their face. That was a good photograph. That was good lighting. But it's not true. You don't. So you can just go out and, especially with smartphones these days, you can make a rainy day look like it's in the middle of the summer if you want. Okay, so Karen is saying, my main camera right now is my tablet and it's too big to carry everywhere. And I addressed this yesterday in my creativity show and suggested she get a smartphone. Which she could put in her pocket. See how easy that was? Rob says, perhaps it's our frame of mind these days. We're constantly bombarded with bad news and it doesn't sort of make us feel creative. You know, I've got this technique. I don't watch TV. So there's always that. And then he came up with this really cool idea of covering the face with masks and maybe funny masks. And you know what? I think I'm going to go with that next time. Because I've been having difficulties coming up with ideas, especially ideas that actually stimulate people enough to contribute. So I might just do this, you know, wrap something interesting around your face with your eyes showing and we could use that as a theme for next time. All right, let me show you this week's theme. It's what's your favorite thing to photograph and why? So this is just started today. It's a Monday. Put them up on a Monday, and you've got a week to contribute to this discussion. And to be honest, it's not really a discussion, is it? It's literally just sharing what you love to photograph, which is nice, I think. We've got Yana is saying nature because it's beautiful. So Yana is someone who is inspired by beautiful, positive things, which, I don't know, are you inspired by beautiful, positive, shiny day things, or are you more of a mean and moody type where, you know, you want, it's the rather, the not such fun sides of life would actually inspire you to be more creative? I am more towards the dark side of life. You know, the sad things, the rainy days, even negativity in a way, but not in, I don't want to portray it in a negative way. It's just that, you know, I mean, if I were to write, people write songs, the strongest ones are generally about, you know, you losing your lover, or, you know, something terrible has happened. There's not too many amazing songs about, oh, look, the sun is shining again today, let's write a song about it. There are, they do exist. But the stronger songs have a dark element to them. And for me, stronger photography has a darker side to it as well. That doesn't mean the photograph has to be completely miserable. And you should still try to be creative, I think, even if the subject's not, you know, 100% happy, smiley, shiny people. Rob is saying mainly wildlife or landscapes. The suburbs are not as photogenic or as inspiring as the cities. Yeah, well, I replied to Rob saying that I tend to agree. And in my boring suburb, there's not that much that inspires me, really. Paris, everything inspires me. So, you know, and Rob said, well, having been to Paris twice, you could fill a memory card in an hour, which is, and I'm still tending to agree with him. Yeah, I mean, I go to Paris, I can easily go to some unknown area and come back with 10 or 20 photographs, which will be my next 10 or 20 photographs for Paris Set Me Free photographs. So thanks for that, Rob and Yana, the first ones to contribute there, I think. Yep. Right, so please tell me, what's your favorite thing to photograph and why? And as Rob has done here, need I tell you, give me an example photograph. The group is all about sharing photographs plus some conversation around photography. I've changed the feel of it recently from last year. So I would like you to contribute at any time, anytime. It doesn't matter what the thing is. It could be the question of the week. It could be the photographs and little text stimulus of the day. It could be the weekly theme. Contribute photographs anytime. They don't even have to be on theme. Just please contribute. That's what makes the group live. Right, next thing. I'm going to close that. Economize the windows there. Right, this is sunny. Let's look at the sunshine theme. So this was the theme for this week. Sunshine, offer us a little or a big ray of sunshine today to blow those confinement blues away. And here we go. So this was me introducing the topic, and I'm in the middle of a field somewhere. I got up in the middle of the night practically to catch the sunrise with my lad, my son, and this is me blowing little corn bits that I was taking bits of corn and eating them, blowing them out of my hand, and as the sun rose, which was kind of cool. And now we've got Karen, who says we're suffering a polar vortex. Oh dear, sorry to hear that. And there's been sleet, ice pellets, snow, heavy frost for the past week. It's almost mid-May and we're still forced to wear our winter coats this year. Good grief. We're quite sick of it and want things to warm up. So we've got a nice sunny tree though, nevertheless, which is nice. Thanks for sharing that, Karen. Rob says, feeling your pain, Karen. Green grass flocked with white snow is not pleasant to see, but lovely to see your green grass. Yeah, you know the things that we think of as very romantic, like snow on the trees and stuff. If you have it like, I don't know, 8 months a year or something, it very quickly becomes less romantic. So tell me, what's the weather, the photographic weather like where you are then? Are you able to get out? Has lockdown calmed down and you're able to go out and photograph a bit? I mean, it's beautiful weather where I am at the moment. Let me show you. I'll flick. So right now, out of my little window, I have this. There it is. You've got some nice sunshine there. Lorry's going past, but don't worry about that. And up in the gutter there, I wonder if I can do this. Up in the gutter there is a bird nesting. So I've got nature on my doorstep. How about that? Okay, so let's have a look at another sunshine contribution. I've got to choose 3 winners. You know how it works. Right, I've got people commenting on, you can see comments, oh no, you can't at the moment. You see comments, and these people should be watching this live show. Where are you? Or maybe they're on other groups. This was a really nice one from Rob. Took a picture of a little guy crawling across the road. What a fantastic shot, and it's really high quality as well. He says, since I bought the iPhone 11, I usually use the portrait mode, typically to set the f2, to f2. Okay, because I asked him what focus effect he used, because if you look at this, it's pretty cool. The tortoise, the tiny little tortoise guy, if it is one, and the little strip of the road around the tortoise and a little bit in front is in crystal clear, beautiful sharp focus. But as you come down to the front bit here and the back bit here, it's got a lovely fuzzy out of focus effect. And I wondered which way he managed to get that on an iPhone. So you can, you know, depth of field is possible on a modern telephone. Portrait mode is, I'm not sure about other phones. On the iPhone, the portrait mode allows you to throw the background out of focus, but it is done, I think it's done digitally. You know, it's not done in the way you would on a traditional camera, playing with the lens aperture and stuff. It's done where the camera kind of guesses what the subject is and then throws the background out of focus, sort of by default. So, but I think you can play around with it a bit as well to get it more precisely how you want it to be. He says, I brighten the shadows to bring out the details and darken the highlights. Also, I bring down the clarity, as this process tends to make the image look crunchy as it over sharpens. Bring down the clarity. Okay, I use Photoshop Express, a free app. Photoshop Express, okay, thanks for the tip, Rob. Well, it's worked very well, you know, it looks really nice, really good. What a face. He looks a little grumpy, doesn't he, this guy? Okay, what else? Oh, the downside of portrait mode, Rob hasn't finished. He supplies, doesn't he? He supplies. The downside of portrait mode is to make it work. Oh, sorry. The downside of portrait mode is to make it work, you must be further away from your subject. For people, that's fine. For small objects, lots of cropping needs to be done. Yeah, so basically portrait mode doesn't like it if you're too close. You have to go back a bit, but that means that you get a whole load of stuff in. If you're taking something small like a flower, or this who is about the size of a euro coin, you know, you can't get that close to make him fill the frame. So you go back, you've got a huge amount that you have to get rid of afterwards. So thanks for all that info there. This is the original. Have a look at this. Yeah, so he was a lot further away, wasn't he? And the subject is obviously the little tortoise. So it wouldn't have been, well, it could have been. You could have sort of made the little tortoise look really little to have some of the grass and the sky in, but I think he made the right decision there. Right, thanks a lot for that. Excellent. And what else have we got? We've got me. This was another one, me trying to stimulate a bit of interest. It's not me in the photograph. It was someone I was wandering around with. And you've got a wonderful contre-jour effect. The sun is, I'm shooting into the sun. And what it is the guy's hair is lit with this kind of halo effect. It works very well with my hair as well. I often get that effect when I ask people to take photographs of me. And what is really cool is that there's a couple of tall things, and they have got a big, nice, long shadow cast coming towards us. That really is good because it gives the feeling of this low, warm sun in a way that you wouldn't have had if those two tall things hadn't been there. They're not particularly picturesque tall things, but they give you those excellent shadows. And his head is slightly framed by those two shadows. And what else can I say? There is, of course, the cobblestones are the face of each cobblestone, which they're quite flat ones. They're not really rounded ones, but they're kind of shiny. And the bit in between, the grouting in between the cobblestones isn't very reflective. So you've got a very nice texture there as well, which is something typical of contre-jour lighting. When you've got the sun in front of you and there's something nice and textured that it's bouncing off. One of the wonders of slanty lighting, and you can get it on a building as well. You know, you've got a wall with a texture, you have the sun slanting across it, and you get all the texture comes out. Much, much better than flat lighting. I've played around with the processing on this to bump it up, and of course, there's a funky angle, which is, it's got this is probably opposite from the way you're looking at it, but imagine you've got this here, and then you've got this here. You see, you've got this kind of effect, which is actually a rather nice compositional element. It splits the photograph into three parts. There's the wall thing on the right, top right. There's the sky, which fills in going down to the bottom left, and the rest, in which there's all the busy stuff, and the sun, of course. I didn't mean to spend half an hour talking about my own photograph, but anyway, there you go. From Alice. Alice says, this is really cool, isn't it? The sun sneaking through that little bit in the, I don't know what sort of tree it is. I thought it might be a monkey puzzle tree, which is a sort of tree, excuse me. Oh my God, I'm so boring. I'm even boring myself. A monkey puzzle tree was a sort of tree that used to be in a garden. I mean, as I went to school as a kid, probably there were other specimens, but that's the one I remember. A twisty, weird tree. And it's great the way she's got it coming through that little gap there. Could possibly even crop a little bit more on either side, almost make it a square photograph. If you look at the tree, it looks almost square, doesn't it? I would actually have gone for a square photograph, squeeze in the sides to have the same space on each side as there is above the top of the tree. I reckon you could probably make it square, purely, absolutely square, perfectly square. And that'd be pretty amazing as well. The tree's almost silhouetted, but not quite, which is, I think they would both work. If it was silhouetted completely, like completely black, I think it would work well. But because it's got such a lovely texture, I think it's quite good that you haven't completely silhouetted it too. So thanks for that. What have we got here? We've got some comments here as well. Tim Kutz is saying, Rob's saying, the light holder, this tree, the light holder, yeah. Great shot, Alice, that was me. But wow, what a cool shot. Yeah, so getting some love there, Alice. Yeah. How interesting to frame the sun. For another reason, I was looking at some pictures which are about making special effects without any special effects. You know, for example, you have someone standing there with their hand up like that, and there's someone in the distance, but they make it look as though the person is actually standing on their hand. You know, these typical tourist sort of special effect things, where you hold a building, a huge building or a pyramid in between your fingers because it's far away. So you can play with that as well with this. You know, you can. There was another really funny one. The guy was standing like this, like that, and he had the sun under his arm. He was carrying the sun like a football. It was really cool. The imagination's the limit. You know this, don't you? And then we've got Yuruska, family camping day at the beach with a beautiful sunset. This is a lovely photograph. She's played around with it, as she likes doing, and turned the colors wild, orangey sort of color. And it's really, really nice shot, actually. The silhouettes are nice, the two tents, the people playing around. and the sun sinking. If anything, I would probably crop a bit of the foreground, which to me doesn't seem to be doing much. And it also makes the horizon where the sea meets the sky almost in the middle of the photograph. So what? Well, you've got to admit the bottom third of the photograph, no, let's say the bottom quarter of the photograph isn't really adding much to the photograph. No, you don't have to admit that, but that's what I think. I think up to here you could get rid of it and it would make the photograph stronger. You wouldn't lose anything that's important, and you would bring all these little details much closer to the bottom, which is kind of more natural. You know, we expect the people, their feet and stuff to be near the bottom of the photograph. So get rid of the bottom quarter coming on for a third. You could even lose a bit of the left-hand side there for the same reason. The reason being there's not much happening. And you'd have a photograph, keep the sky, keep all of the sky. It's beautiful. That's where the beauty is. So I would go down here and along here. And I think that would be a really nice, it is a nice, you'd make a nice photograph even stronger. If you agree or disagree, then feel free to comment. Feel free to say hello as well. You can even say hello if you're watching the replay. But if you are watching live, give me the pleasure of a little comment where you say, hello, it's me. And and then I can say hello to you as well. Okay, 𝗙𝗤𝙀𝙙𝙖𝙮. Now this is a very interesting one, a sneaky one. And I didn't see the special thing until right at the end, and someone pointed it out actually. And it's a bunch of leaves. And she said, not a lot of sun during the past week, but yesterday, wow, everyone was outside, including this little one. And I said, oh yes, what a pretty little pink flower. And she said, well, yes, but there's something else lurking in the grass. And I looked very carefully, and right next to the flower, just to the right and below the flower, is a little lizard, I think it is. So that was cute as well, wasn't it? So well done, thanks for that. You've got a nice eye then for nature. And then we had Nazanin bombarding us with photographs. Hello, Nazanin. She's saying hello. Hello, Nazanin. How are you doing? We're just about to talk about all your lovely photographs. Right. So we've got this one. I don't know how she manages to get. I don't know how you manage, Nazanin, to get so many beautiful photographs. So here we are. I'm kind of guessing this isn't the suburbs of Paris. The French Alps. Yeah. Saint-Jean-d'Arve ski resort. Yeah, you've got those pointy mountains and you've got a tree, and she has done a similar thing to Alice. She's got the sun coming through the tree. You see what happens is that the light kind of diffracts and it looks like it's actually taking over or burning up part of the tree. And it gives a lovely effect. And of course, when you're shooting into the sun, that often turns the foreground silhouettes into silhouettes, black in other words, which is often good for trees because a tree silhouette can be very, very beautiful against an impressive background. You've actually got the roofs of cars here as well, which maybe you couldn't manage to get rid of them. If you wanted a truly nature shot, you probably don't want parked cars in there, but you might not have been able to do anything about that. You also got a sign here, which is a sign. Here's an example of no sort of intrusive elements at all. It's just a beautiful mountainscape covered in snow by the looks of it. Sun and snow go well together, yeah. Amazing. And it's almost just tones of blue, isn't it? It's often snow will reflect light in a kind of a cold way. So one of the problems with shooting snow is, well, there's two. One is that it's so white, the camera will think there's too much light because the camera tries to average it. So the camera will shut down the exposure, letting less light in, and it'll turn the snow No, it'll turn the snow grey, which isn't right, is it? Because snow is white. So you often want to bump up the exposure as you're taking it. In fact, to have the best quality, because I'm really, you're not boring me. It's me, honestly. And the best, but you don't want the snow to blow out and be completely white either. So try to shoot, as you're shooting snow, try to have the exposure, play around with the exposure, so that what's white is white as you're taking the shot. It's fine here. It's more or less fine, I think. I don't think there's any problem there. The other thing that happens with snow is snowy scenes, they often come out blue, like artificial blue. It's not blue you would see as you're looking at it. The lighting has gone blue. So afterwards, you can actually go into the warmth setting or something. You know, you can make it more orange and more blue, and you just bump it up towards orange, but don't make it orange. If you want it to be natural, don't go to make it orange instead of blue. Leave it where it's natural colors. That's a great use for that one. So beautiful. And you got the sun slightly off to the left. You got the nice lines going. Yeah, it's great. Thank you for contributing that. And what else have we got? Now, this one is amazing. Yeah, very, very beautiful. Shot again. Sunset giving a creepy effect to the church steeple, says Nazanin. Yeah. There's this kind of lone sprig sticking up there. Really, really atmospheric church steeple thing. Very atmospheric sky. And the ground, the bottom bit, is silhouette-y again. We're getting lots of examples of the shooting into the sun, which turns the foreground items into silhouettes, which is lovely, because often a lot of foreground items are just not that pretty. You know, it could be traffic signs, or even a tree with detail can be less powerful than a tree in silhouette. You've got a really iconic sort of church steeple thing there. It's great, really nice, yeah. And all the detail in the clouds as well. So Nazanin is, you know, our main contributor here. So maybe she's going to win a prize. Who knows? A nominal prize, you know, love and respect forever sort of prize. Here she says, I like the contre-jour effect. Nazanin's on our masterclass, so she's trying out some sophisticated stuff here. Yeah, contre-jour, you're shooting into the light, and you can either have sort of hair lit up from behind, like the guy I showed you, or you can have light shining through leaves. This is a beautiful effect. If you manage to get light shining through leaves towards you, or shining through petals, it's really beautiful. So yeah, it's a nice leafy scene, isn't it? With a kind of tree slap bang in the middle. Oh, very interesting. And another one. Sun hiding behind clouds. So this one, the horizon is actually about a fifth or a sixth way up from the bottom. The sky is very impressive. Really beautiful sunlight bursting through the lower clouds, with the rays spreading out like this. The heavy, heavy clouds above it. Little bit of blue sky in the top left, with some clouds which are lit by the same sun, obviously, but this huge bank of cloud in the middle, which takes up about at least a third of the photograph. But there's still detail here, you see. It's not just you've got the detail of the dark grey against even darker grey. It's it's a beautifully layered photograph. And you've even got a little sliver of bright, you see the sunburst there. There's even more dark clouds here. And you've got a tiny sliver of lightness here just above the horizon. And you've got hints of trees in the bottom. You've got a little bit of a few leaves in the bottom left there, and a little sort of bush tree thing on the bottom right. So although there isn't a subject as such, the only precise thing you could point out is the sun bursting through as the subject, which is fair enough. It can be the subject. And it's a very impressive shot. The sun is right in the middle, but that gives you the splaying out in all directions, which also is nice. The thing that I think is well chosen is to let the sky dominate this shot. For a start, the foreground isn't that interesting. The sky is spectacular. Because it dominates the shot, it's about 1/6 of the shot is the sky. Plus the sky is really interesting and layered. You've made the right choice there. I mean, obviously it was the thing that struck you, but you've left enough of the foreground for us to give it some context. You don't want a picture just of sky. You need some context. And there it is. The horizon's nice and straight. If it isn't completely straight, that might be the lie of the land. And there's hints of trees. So it's wonderful. Yeah, really good. Like it a lot. And we've got Dorothy has contributed this sunny one. Interesting. I haven't seen this one yet. Interesting. Okay. I've got a feeling this is her favorite shadow taking spot, because she's taken some great shadow shots. And here you've got the sun, but she's normally, I think that's another time of day, because she shoots here, I think, with the sun behind and has long shadows running out in front of her. Here, the sun seems to be up high, casting shadows towards us. And what has happened here is you've got some camera flare, you've got some lens flare, which is interesting. This is the sort of thing you've got applications which allow you to put lens flare back in. Isn't it funny? You get to perfection and people realize perfection is really boring. So then they start creating apps where you can make them look like they're taken on crappy cameras again. So here's a tree. It's a nicely shaped tree in the middle of the shot. And the sun is sort of slamming down on top. Now this camera flare has made the whole thing a bit sort of fuzzy, a bit misty, which gives it a certain atmosphere, which is, if you like that effect, then there it is. If you don't want that effect, you don't want that camera flare, you would actually like the shot to have been clearer, then you have to find a way of not letting the sun go directly into the lens, because that's when you get this effect. And of course, don't look directly into the sun, people. We've got some comments. We've got Facebook user saying sunlight above and below. Yeah, Facebook user, if you want me to know who you are in your comments, you need to go to, have I still got this? I used to have a thing where it told you where to go. I tell you where to go. You have to go to streamyard.com/Facebook and you just agree that I can see your name. Okay, streamyard.com/Facebook. And I'm just doing some. No, I'm not. Right. So yeah. And so we got some comments. That's what I was doing. Sunlight above and below. Okay. We've got Nazanin is saying, I took it naturally with no calculations, probably talking about the sky one. Spontaneous is probably best. You go for it, what you think is right, frame it nicely. That can be the nicest shot. You don't have to worry about rules of composition and stuff. If you really like it that way, then go for it. And she's saying, you beautify it so much. I beautify it? You mean with my words? Or maybe that's not what you mean. Anyway, yeah. Dorothy's saying, I don't remember when I took this picture. I did find it in my gallery today while searching for another picture. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's nice, sometimes to go back and look at your old photographs. I mean, this lockdown thing, when I haven't really been able to go into Paris, has been a godsend for me, because I've gone back through my old stuff and realized how many photographs I took. They were fine. I was going to use them. And then time moved on. I did another session and I forgot them. So I'm actually not going to publish new photographs for quite a while. They'll be new to the world. But I'm going to just go back through the archives and get all those great photographs that I forgot. So I recommend you do that as well. Facebook user, who are you, Facebook? It's Rob. Hey, Rob, how are you doing? We talked about you, and I said how wonderful a contributor you are, and you give all that value. Like we talked about your tortoise, by the way. And thank you for the info on the portrait mode and how you got the focus the way you did. Saying he loves the flare. Rob loves the flare. There you go, you see. And it's Rob as Facebook user. Nazanin says yes. So maybe Nazanin is saying that she likes the way I describe her photograph. Creativity, it comes around and it goes around. You give something creative to me and it will inspire me to be maybe creative in the way I talk about it. It's a circle and it's a cycle. It's a virtuous circle. When I offer my photographs to you, I want them to inspire you to create interesting photographs, which you will then offer to me. You see, it's very selfish in a way. I just want to see more nice photographs. So, you know, it's neither one nor the other. It's not this is better than this, or it's just a cycle. It goes on and on and on. Okay. Sorry, late at work, taking longer lunch break. Don't tell anyone. Rob is taking a longer lunch break than usual. Now the whole world knows that. I see Rob's name. Yes. All right. So there we go. And I think there was one more. Thanks, Dorothy. And we've got Chris. And Chris has posted this one on the sunshine theme. There it is. Very nice. I'm seeing it for the first time. So actually, a lot of these sunshine ones are looking into the sun, aren't they? It's been kind of paled down a bit by this tree. And you've got a nice, this always goes the wrong way, a nice sort of mini frame with that fence. And this wonderful contre-jour effect where the sun behind casts shadows towards us. Really nice way of filling in the foreground with something interesting. If you've got something interesting to cast the shadows, Chris has. She's got a lovely broken down old bit of fence with the slats, and it's really good. I like it. Very nice. So lovely stuff. Shall I choose some winners here? I'm going to go for the cloud one immediately. There was no, actually, I mean, these are so nice. The church one is really nice, actually. What about you guys? What's your favorite shot out of the ones we've seen in the sunshine theme? Please let me know. What are your favorite shots? You can give the name of the person, and if there's more than one shot from them, the name of the shot. So I would say, of these, I love this one as well. I'd go for the churchy one, and I would definitely, I'm gonna go, oh, that's tough, isn't it? This one looks like something out of some Dracula film or something. Maybe I'll go for this one, just because it's, because of the spire, because of that church spire. Because the other one with the clouds, it's still, you know, there's nothing, there's no sort of thing to hang on to like this spire. So that'll be my winner from Nazanin. Well done. Okay, we've got Chris's, we've got Dorothy's with the flare there, the tree in the middle. We've got Tinkutz's little creature there. I mean, managing to get a picture of a lizard is not that easy. We've got Yaruska's beach scene there. Oh my goodness. We've got Alice's son sneaking through the, and we got Rob's. Oh dear, this is getting tough now, man. Oh my goodness. Karen's tree, favorite tree there. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What am I going to do? I do like this one from Yaruska. The way she's played around with the colors, she's got a superb thing. All she needs to do is crop it a bit on the left and the bottom. So I'll kind of give her the benefit of the doubt there. I'll probably go for that one. It's just something about it. There's also something I need to point out on this one, and that is that the sky is pixelated like crazy. It's not just pixelated, it's broken into huge blocks. And this has happened to me. That's why I know what I'm talking about. It happens when you point, when you've got a lot of sky and you do some extreme effects. And you can get away with it once. Like I did it with a photograph of the Eiffel Tower, which is actually like bits of metal riveted onto each other. And the sky looked almost like it was sheets of different colored bits of sky riveted onto each other. It worked once. I'm not going to do it every time. So watch out for that. You see what's happened is it's got so, I think you can probably see on your screen, it's got so blocky that it doesn't look like sky anymore. It's that thin line between an artistic effect then becoming just, oh my God, you've processed it to hell. So watch out for that. Nazanin is saying, I like Yaruska's beach and Alice's tree. Okay, great, thanks for that. Chris is here. Hello, Chris. Sunshine theme should be about sunshine. So in other words, pointing into the sun, right? Could be shadows though, couldn't it? All right, so I might go for that one. And I do like Alice's tree, that's true. This one it was, I said. And was there one more that really grabbed me? Really grabbed me. The little guy there, I love him, but I didn't even see him. That's the problem for me. This is pretty graphic, isn't it? If you turn it square, and then there's Rob's thing there. Okay, so I'm going to go for 𝗟𝗓𝗙𝗃𝗓𝗢𝗏 beach scene, Nazanin's church steeple, help me out here. What do you think? Chris is saying, as opposed to sunsets. Should be about sunshine as opposed to sunsets. I don't know. Sun is the sun, isn't it? I'll go for this one. I'll go for Alice's thing here. And again, I would make it a square photograph, just to fit in with the subject. You see, you're choosing the frame to fit the subject. Squeeze the blue in a little bit, a bit on the left and a tiny bit less on the right. And so there you go. Alice, well done. You're my commended for this week, along with 𝗟𝗓𝗙𝗃𝗓𝗢𝗏's lovely beach scene and this church steeple. And well done to everybody else as well. I'm thinking along the lines of, for next week's theme, Rob's idea of some sort of face covering. You know what I'm going to go for? I'll make it a little bit bigger. I'll make it sort of PPE, is that what they call it? Personal protective equipment. Maybe some sort of shot relating to personal protective equipment of some sort. You could cover your face with something interesting, or you could some other way of staying safe in this environment, or even people out and about wearing these things. You know, it could be interesting. If you've designed your own face mask with a particular, or you've made it, take a shot with that. I think it could be quite cool. All right, so let's go for that. I've got a really boring one, but maybe I'll try and, I don't know, do something to it. All right, so we're getting to the end of the show. Thanks so much for coming on, guys, and saying hello. Rob is saying Alice's tree, I think. All right, good stuff. So the theme will be PPE of any sort, protective, personal protective equipment to keep you safe, probably some sort of face mask, or maybe you could get funny, you know, you could imagine anything covering the bottom half of your face. Could that work as well? Let me just quickly show you some of my stuff from this week. The last 7 photographs are me, who is open every Sunday, and it's true, because every Sunday I have a thing where I talk about creativity, life, the universe, and everything, being more productive in my role as a creative coach, someone who helps you to be as creative and productive as you would love to be. So I even offer a complimentary around 1 hour session with 0 sales talk. It's just 1 hour of coaching on your creativity. So if you want to do that, you can. No obligation, of course. And it'll be great, you know, to chat. Can you imagine chatting about creativity for an hour? This is for people who are really determined to be as creative as they can in their current situation. So there's that. That was me. That's on a bus, actually, open every Sunday. You've got these lovely shadows. This could have been in the theme, couldn't it? Except Chris might not agree because there's no real sun in it. But, you know, I like it. I love that. I love these shadows that come towards you. Really, I'm getting more and more fond of those as time goes on. And yeah, 4 old guys sitting in the park. This reminded me of, you know, that Simon and Garfunkel song called Old Friends? Old Friends. Then it says, sat on their park bench like bookends. Beautiful line. Sat on their park bench like bookends. Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. Bum, 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 bum. This one is wild, absolutely wild. Didn't look like this to start off with, but I did something to it, and I'm not telling you what. Crazy. Love this shot. Love this shot. And this one, you know, why would you take a picture of a sign pointing to the public toilets? Why? Because you're a photographer and you take photographs of stuff that most people don't take photographs of, okay? And this is the urban details that I love. It's part of where we are, what we are. And I also was kind of wondering why these signs were so bashed. I mean, could people be so desperate to go to the bathroom that they slam past these things, sort of buckling them to hell? I don't know. Really weird. So, you know, and then you play with the colors, you play with the shapes, you play with the forms. It doesn't have to be a thing as such. And then this was the last, this is the last bunch. These are the latest. This is in the Paris Metro. I think I told you maybe the story of my son, who he can look at a panel like this, he's 10, look at a panel like this and say, République or Châtelet-Léal, in other words, the name of the station, based on the lines that run through it. That's his genius zone is the Paris Metro. You know, when you're interested in something, there's no bounds to what you're capable of doing. When something is forced upon you, like having to study maths at school, for example, why on earth should your brain bother with something that doesn't interest it? But he can do all the maths relating to, you know, the number of stations on any given line, what changes you have to make to get from one place in Paris to another in the most efficient way. You know, when you're interested, creativity, imagination, and intelligence lets fly. This is in Montmartre. You wander around and you see a cockerel with its young behind a rather deliciously textured gate, and you take a photograph of it. You throw in a slight angle because, you know, that's what one does. Then you got this one, which is touching. It's in an old graveyard around the back of Montmartre. It's a very, very little visited graveyard, but it's charming. And you've actually got a few Montmartre characters in there who didn't make it to Montmartre Cemetery, but this is actually more charming. And you've got Sacré-Cœur behind, and you've got some rather touching statues. I wrote something about this. Well, I write something about everything. They're not always about the photograph, for sure. Anyway, you can read that if you want to. And then these two, which I think I showed you at the beginning. So that's my creative output for this week. What's yours? And you don't get away with it that easily. I'm going to tell you again. You know that there are now other ways to interact. Any post in our group, you can contribute a photograph to. But the way I try to stimulate your posting is through theme of the week, which is going to be some sort of protective items. Also, the weekly chat. And this week, the weekly chat is what's your favorite thing to photograph and why? And obviously, I would love it if you posted some examples and have a chat about it as well. And then the final way that you can contribute is every single day I will offer you, post my photograph of the day, and and a little bit of the text. Okay, there it is, you see? This is this one. A little snippet of medieval Paris for you, with a couple of modern tower blocks behind. And some guy in a black biker's jacket and Nike trainers, but we don't worry about that. And a little bit of text there, you see? There's the text. There's the photograph. And here are some ideas. Let the photograph inspire you to share an old photograph with us, to go out and shoot a new one, or let the text inspire you to photograph something new. That's what it's about. This is the Creative Smartphone Photography Group. If you're here, I would like you to be inspired enough to share photographs because I want to see them. So that's it. One other thing I'll show you. This is one of my sites, which is about my masterclasses. Our smartphone photography masterclass is coming to an end. We're nearly finished. We've had some fantastic photographs. I'm going to ask people permission to let me show you their galleries, their photo galleries with us in this group. And the next masterclass coming up it's not going to start in May, actually. I need more time. So it's going to start later on in the year, maybe June, July, I'm not sure yet. It's a blog and article writing masterclass, which will include elements of which can help your articles to be and blog posts to be even more powerful, which can include memes, poetry, and short stories. So you can go there, infinitecreativitynow.com, and check that out if you want to. And that's it. So let me come back to you. Coming back to you, 55 minutes. I've managed another one. There's another one out there of these Mystery Monday shows. Thanks for taking part. So nice to have you. And that's it. I hope you're doing okay in your lockdown days, if you're still there or managing to get out a bit more. The sun is here. Hope the snow is melting where you are. Maybe if you're on the other side of the world, it's starting to get a bit chilly, which is also good for photography because autumn colors and stuff. If you're on the sort of Australia end of the world, of the planet. And I'll be doing one of these in my new smartphone, my new writing group as well. I'm going to do a weekly show there, and obviously the focus will be on words as opposed to pictures. But of course, pictures can inspire words. So it's all the same sort of universe that I'm sort of conjuring up here. Thanks a lot, and I look forward to interacting with you one way or another, especially with photographs in our group very soon. Bye for now.